let's do some housekeeping stuff and talk about platforms and opportunities. YouTube is the most useful and easy to use platform. You can upload all your stuff for free. It works quickly. Everybody already has an account. The comments work fine, so there's no technological problems with YouTube. The problems all come from the censorship angle and the false sense of security that you get. You upload all your stuff to YouTube, it works great, you think it's going to be fine, then one day they nuke your channel and you haven't backed it up. So not only do you lose all your videos, but you lose your network of contacts, you lose all the comments that people have left. So it's a bad deal. The alternatives are pretty much BitChute and archive.org. Archive.org will delete your stuff if you get too big and if you're too dissident or controversial or, dare I say, anti-Semitic. So archive.org works as long as you're not creating a lot of traffic and buzz. So it's kind of like being able to cache things for long-term free storage, but it works slow. Comments aren't that great, can't really build up a network on there, and it is ultimately also subject to censorship, but not as active and pervasive as YouTube. BitChute uses, and I'm not going to say that. BitChute uses a commenting system that will censor you, will prevent certain people from posting, will delete people's posts. So in that sense, the social aspect of BitChute is not that much better than YouTube. BitChute itself, on the other hand, as a service, seems to be fine from my experience with it. It is not as easy to use, it's slower, and it exposes your IP address when you're using it to the other peers because it's a peer-to-peer technology. If you're using a VPN, it doesn't matter. If you don't care about your IP being exposed, it doesn't matter. You know that the ultimate enemy really knows your IP address anyway, your browsing history, your telephone calls. It's got the Five Eyes list of everything you've ever done. So it doesn't really matter with regards to that. But those are the advantages and disadvantages comparing those three services. Another one is Telegram. People are starting to set up Telegram channels that I've seen in which they're keep creating social networks, small social networks that would not be allowed on YouTube or Twitter. So that's useful. The thing that seems to me to be the best way to run things right now is to keep your YouTube channel active and post teasers to controversial material that is hosted elsewhere. Tim Kelly seems to be using this without having his channel nuked or anything. So it's, at least as far as right now, it doesn't look like they're going to nuke people's channels for posting teaser videos that then link to controversial material that probably would no longer be allowed on YouTube in terms of the censorship. So until and unless, the thing is about YouTube, right, is the algorithms, the search algorithms and everything are becoming more and more draconian over time. For example, the splash screen has been set up to push basically nothing but so-called popular videos in categories that have been created by YouTube employees. So there'll be three asinine categories, like sports clips, rap music, and makeup, let's say. Three things like that. Those categories have been created by YouTube employees, and so-called popular videos with lots of views have been put into a list that then populates that, and that's what you get splashed with when you go to YouTube. You try to search for stuff. If it's controversial or if it's on a certain list or whatever, then you're just not going to find it, even if it is on YouTube. And I know because there are certain videos on YouTube that I save the links to that are no longer easy to find through the search, even though they haven't been deleted yet. So there's all sorts of stuff going on with that, which really reduces the overall value of the service to us. And again, what we're trying to do here is to create a powerful political vanguard movement. The mass movement stuff is, I don't think, going to happen for us in this stage of the Trump presidency here in America. Everybody's pretty much picked a side. They're pro-Trump or anti-Trump, and Trump has been mostly doing neocon activity. So we're all the way back to the Bush presidency. You got a neocon in the White House. Foreign policy in the Middle East, at least, is just Greater Israel Project. Basically, our entire political class has been on a plane with a known pedophile flying to Pedophile Island. Anyhow, the whole thing is completely dirty. It's impossible to believe in, and yet the mass publics are looking past the unbelievable. They're tribal. They pick their side, and they're going to stick with it. So there's no hope for a mass movement whatsoever. So alternatively, what we have to do is to try to build up small groups of vanguard party, basically, through social networking. The Bolsheviks, yes, they did have money from financiers on Wall Street, but nevertheless, they had 20,000 people who were willing to risk being shot to death for their political goals. And so if anybody in Western countries could do that, if any dissident political movement could do that, then stuff could actually happen. But it's not going to happen unless you get enough people on the same wavelength who believe the same thing. And so there has to be some kind of convergence of thoughts, goals, and enough will to push it through. And in our circles, there are many people who agree about 50 to 60% of the stuff and disagree about the other 40%. So I think that the talking part, the point that serves, is to try to push everybody closer to beliefs. The ideas get sifted through. Eventually something's going to rise to the top because it's the most popular preference. This is why the censorship is so strong, is because the talking part is absolutely necessary, and the talking part is what scares the elites because they know it's a necessary step to any further action. So I think that's most of what I wanted to say. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to post videos on YouTube that I think will get through the censorship. But if I think it's too controversial straight out, I'm going to post a teaser video with a link that goes to BitchUte or somewhere else. And I hope that if you have any better alternatives, you can suggest it. And I hope that, as you've all done, you'll continue to offer your comments and critiques. Okay, thank you for your time.